In 2.5 hours, 30 horses will line up right here with 24 daunting fences standing between them and the biggest prize in Irish jump racing.
The first fence that the horses have to negotiate is the widest in Ireland. And last year it proved insurmountable for the mighty Kenboy.
Let's see, go out over the first fence and we've lost one there.
Well, moving on, runners need to be very careful not to underestimate this fence 5 out on the track. The same fifth fence, which 12 months ago put paid to the hopes of the favourite pair of Brown Eyes, and collateral damage, he took out 4 others with him.
A pair of Brown Eyes is gone, and Fine Theatre is another faller, and Squat Tour is also gone.
This is the 4th last fence in the National. Once they've jumped this, they'll have less than 4 furlongs. That's half a mile. For most horses, they'll now be entering uncharted territory.
And this is where one horse will cross the line ahead of the rest to claim their place in the history books.
The gates are open, the horses are here, so are the people. We're good to go. You're all very welcome to the Boyle Sports Irish Grand National 2019.
The Irish Grand National.
It's a race for everyone.
Don't stay out. Go on, you boy.
For the locals, it's special. The race of the people.
How do you pick yours?
Form is king.
I want the one with Rachel on board.
Give me whatever Davy's on.
There's nothing like a grey.
It's anybody's race. It's been that way since 1870.
Stamina's required.
So is bravery. And weight, that's not an issue.
Ryan Bold carry 12 stone 7.
And twice, Brown Lad showed her 12 stone 2.
He's made history. The 3rd time for Brown Lad to win a national here at Fairyhouse.
Father and son on so many occasions.
Tom and Jim, 15 wins between them.
Tommy and Paul.
Bobby Joe and Paul Connery on the near side, 40 ahead. Bobby Joe wins the Irish National.
And Philip.
And Nina.
For organised confusion, wins it for afterward and Nina Carberry.
But Nina wasn't the first female to conquer the race.
Anne Farrell has become the first lady to ride the winner of an Irish Grand National.
Liberty Council was a massive 50-1.
Liberty Council and Ben Dalton win the Lambert's Irish Grand National.
And the greatest, Arkle. He was 1 to 2.
It is Arkle. That's his one, and there he goes. The undisputed champion.
The local Gardaí siblings have each ridden into the winner's enclosure.
Ted and Ruby landed it 19 years ago.
Then it's Comanche Court. It's going to be a national double for the Walshes as they race the line.
And Katie was sublime more recently.
Under and Rose is out in front. They're going to win it for Katie Walsh.
It's a race for everyone.
The race of the people.
How do you pick yours?
The day of reckoning is upon us. It's another Irish National, but one with a huge amount at stake, and any amount of twists and turns. Jane, Katie and Ted are going to sort it out for us. Jane, a big race indeed. How's it going to play out?
It's going to be very different this year to as we saw in those pictures. It's typically soft ground, real. I know it's 3 miles 5 test of stamina. It's a very different race today. Hopefully we'll see a good gallop, a nice clean race, not too many fallers, and I think class will prevail today. It's not going to be a typical race where a lightweight is going to be essential. It might, obviously will help, but today the ground is quicker, it's a different type of race, and it's fiercely competitive.
Katie, that last half mile, it doesn't suit everybody.
No, and there's a lot of jumping to be done in the last half mile as well, and at the Easter Festival in Fairyhouse, it's the only time of the year you've got 3 fences up the straight, and it makes a big difference. You turn in, you've got those 3 big fences facing. You're a long way from home when you turn in, and you're definitely not the winner until you get out over the last.
Ted, you've been here before. Are you any more relaxed?
I am, I suppose I am. The older you get, the more relaxed you get. But
I wouldn't say that now. I wouldn't say that.
I heard you've been hard to live with now.
but it's a great day. Easter Monday at Fairyhouse, Irish National. It's been part of your and my life, all our life, since we were old enough to go racing. It's a wonderful race. It's great memories for everybody, including us, but people, special memories for the rest of your life here in the Irish National.
Yeah, it's all at 5 o'clock, and we've got wonderful action to bring us there. Here's Tracy.
And yes, it's the big one. It's the Boyle Sports Irish Grand National. What a fantastic race we have in prospect. That's a little bit later on. Here's all the racing we have for you today. And we get going in just a few moments at 2:40 with the Grade 2 Rathbarry and Glenview Studs Juvenile Hurdle over 2 miles. Then at 3:15, the Fairyhouse Steel Handicap Hurdle, 2 miles and 6 furlongs. Then at 10 to 4, it's a Grade 2, the Keeling's Irish Strawberry Hurdle, 2.5 miles. And then at 4:20, the Grade 2 Devonist Steeplechase, also over 2.5 miles. And we finish, of course, with the big one, Boyle Sports Irish Grand National Steeplechase, over 3 miles and 5 furlongs. A few non-runners there, as you can see. In the 3:15, 2 don't take part, and then the reserves in the National aren't running there. And a jockey change in the 5 o'clock in the National. Number 15 is now ridden by Niall Madden. And there's a drying wind, and it's still pretty mild, and as you can see, the watering going on there. The ground, the official going is good to yielding. The weather is sunny, and it's going to remain between 18 and 21 degrees.
Hi, Joe. Oh, we're live. I didn't. We're chatting to two lovely ladies, two sisters from Thurles, of course, the home of hurling, here at Fairyhouse on Irish Grand National Day. Ladies, what's going to win the National?
Well, I would go for Shattered Love, because I fancy Davy Russell and his Gordon Elliott horse. So I'm hoping that's my win, or my bet.
What do you like?
I'm going for Burroughs Saint, and I love Ruby Walsh.
Two sisters enjoying your day. Have a wonderful Grand National.
Thank you.
From Thurles up for the day with the two brothers as well, you see. When you come racing, you don't know who you're going to meet. And of course, Thurles, the home of hurling. But it's a spectacular day to be racing. Irish Grand National, 30 runners. Here's the latest betting for the 2019 renewal, the €500,000 Boyle Sports Irish Grand National. And look at the money on Burroughs Saint. We had the Holy One winning the first race here on Irish Grand National Day, and Burroughs Saint wearing saddle top number 13. Ruby Walsh chosen mount 6 to 1 from 10 to 1. Shady Operator as big as 33 to 1 last Thursday or Friday. 16 to 1 this morning in your paper. He's now into 10 to 1 for Joseph O'Brien. Jury Duty 12 to 1. Pair of Brown Eyes 12 to 1. And he's second now for Ted Walsh. Was single figures yesterday. He's now 12 to 1. We'll keep an eye on that. Shattered Love. That was as big as 33 to 1 with the big firms this morning. Now into 16 to 1, Tom. And Snugsborough Benny 16 to 1 for Liam Cusack.
Yeah, some race, isn't it? Some spectacle. It will be at 5 o'clock this afternoon. The big market move, and this is absolutely universal, irrespective of which bookmaker you frequent. Look at that name, Ruby Walsh. Who's he chosen of the Willie Mullins septet? He's gone for Burroughs Saint. First time in a handicap, on a hat-trick. Young enough to improve, lightly weighted, and just like yesterday, if you were watching with us here at Fairyhouse, one of the major prizes, the Ryanair Gold Cup, that went the way of Wadu Rev. The indicator, the pointer, the hint, the clue, it was the choice of Ruby Walsh. Once again, he could have gone for 7 quality horses. He's gone for this Burroughs Saint. 10 to 1 in a place this morning. Kiss goodbye to that. 9, 8, 7, 6. The dominoes toppling. Some bookmakers offering only 5 to 1 in a 30-horse race. The creature's never run in a handicap before, but that's the power, the stranglehold that Ruby has got. If you want those at big prices, Shady Operator 16 to 1 into 10 to 1 down the bottom, and also the English horse Kimberlite Candy 40s into 25s, Brian.
We'll be building up to the National throughout the afternoon. 5 o'clock, 3 miles and 5 furlongs. The message is betting is fun. Only bet what you can afford to lose. I hope you can find the winner of the National. We'll be helping you do that throughout the afternoon.
Looking ahead to this first race that we have live, Joseph, you have 3 runners in this race, and the most fancied in the betting looks to be Gardens of Babylon, but he has a little bit of revenge to get over Curse of Blimu, who finished 2nd and 3rd in the Triumph.
Yeah, he beat us well in Cheltenham. Better ground today will probably suit our horse. He's in good shape and I'm hoping for a good run. Feel on the Derry ran once for me before. He was very, very keen. So we hope that he relaxes today, and we'd be hoping to get some place money with him, hopefully. And Star Max has been consistent. He disappointed us at Cheltenham in the handicap hurl, but he's won since in Limerick. Again, he's in good shape, and hopefully hoping for a good run and get some prize money, hopefully.
Okay, well, best of luck with the 3 of them, Joseph.
Thanks, Ali.
We had a peep at him in the paddock, and of course Sublime, the first we look at. Now, if he's none the worse for his Cheltenham exertions, he should win this. He did everything bar win the Triumph Hurdle. He also ran a corker here back in December when he was chinned by Chief Justice. He looks the part.
Gardens of Babylon, as you heard from Joseph O'Brien, he was third behind Curse Sublime and Pentland Hills in the Triumph, but his form before that is very solid. He was second to Sir Eric in the Grade 1 at Leopardstown, and a reproduction of that run, he'll go very close.
Next is number 9, French Maid. Ran well enough in Shetland the last day, didn't get the clearest of runs and made a bad mistake. Is a French import and won her Mare's Maiden Hurdle in Clonmel.
And 4 is 1 is Way Back Home. 1 is Way Back Home. After winning a couple for Pádraig Roach, bit of surprise the first day, but confirmed that with a good win back here as well too. Won't be far away. Good old value there, 10-1.
Got Trumped is trained by Jesse Harrington. He's been really consistent. Good run last time out. It was on the flat. He ran at Gorham Park. He was beaten into second place by Johnny Drama. He won his maiden hurdle at Punchestown in December. He's definitely got his chance here today.
John McConnell's representative is Hannon. He won his maiden in Musselburgh, but really announced himself with talent when he ran second to Chosen Mate in a Grade 2 novice hurdle at Navan. He came back. He ran no kind of race in the Triumph at Cheltenham, but a better run could be expected here.
Next is Star Max, number 8 for Rachel Blackmore and Joseph O'Brien. Won the last day in Limerick, stays well, and I'm sure she'll probably be making plenty of use of him today.
There they are, lining up there. This will be an interesting contest. If Course Sublime, as Robert says, reproduces his Triumph run, he should be hard to beat. Lads, what's happening down the ring?
Thank you. Giant favourites, Course Sublime and Gardens of Babylon, but easy enough to back from 7-4 this morning out to 9-4 each of 2. Each way support for Ruby's Bound, 15-2 into 13-2. French Maid.
Yeah, Brian, this is the interesting thing. Keen-eyed observers will know the mares dominated yesterday. Easy to be drawn to the second and third from the Triumph Hurdle at the Champion Festival. Number 9 also ran in that race, and she gets £7, and she's got our Walsh on board. 13-2 from 15-2. Money each way for number 9, French Maid.
Looks like Way Back Home is going to be handy. Ruby's not going to be far away, and neither is Mark Walsh, just by the body language as they come out the gate. Davy Russell there on 3. He's just sitting on their tail. Pádraig's horse likes to go good gallop, jumps well, stays well, and Paul Townend is going to make sure that it's a true test here, or else he's going to buck out in front and slow it down and dictate it from the front. Ruby's going to sit on his tail. Mark Walsh is not going to be far away. They're walking up to our starter, John Banahan, in the extreme left of our picture there. Beautiful ground again here today, like it was yesterday. They're off and go, lads.
That's it. They're racing on our opener on Irish National Day. It's the Rathbarry and Glenview Studs Juvenile Hurdle Grade 2 contest over 2 miles, and Way Back Home leads French Maid out over the first, being chased on the near side by Course Sublime. Towards the inside is Star Max, and in between them is Gardens of Babylon, and they're being followed just in behind by Got Trumped. Hannon is next. Just behind them, Authorizo, and the early back marker is the only maiden of the field, Filon Duderie. So they go towards flight number 2, be the last on a circuit, and it is over in front, Way Back Home, who leads them. From in second spot on the near side, French Maid, who was 8th at Cheltenham in the Triumph Hurdle. Then towards the inside is the white Jigginstown cap of Star Max, Rachel Blackmore aboard. Then Course Sublime, who was 2nd in the Triumph. Towards his inside is Gardens of Babylon, the obvious danger, who was 3rd in the Triumph, one of 3 Joseph O'Brien trained runners. His father Aidan won it in 2016 with Slow Motion. His grandfather won it in 2008 with Paco Jack. Joseph hoping to take this one off here. Behind them is the black jacket of Got Trumped, Robert Power aboard. Hannon down the inside of Authorizo, and last of all is Filon Duderie under last year's Grand National winning jockey JJ Slevin. So the first of the climbing flights, and it is Way Back Home who leads them up over it, being followed in second spot by French Maid. Way Back Home and Hall Town, and French Maid, Ruby Walsh, being chased in third by Star Max and Rachel Blackmore. Towards the outside is Course Sublime and Davy Russell. Just in behind them is Gardens of Babylon and Mark Walsh, who got off to a flyer yesterday. Hannon is towards the inside for the John McConnell team. Sean Flanagan aboard in the black and white diamonds. Then Got Trump just outside Robert Power. They're being chased towards the back by Authorizo and the birthday boy Jack Kennedy. And last of all is Philon Dudery, the mount of JJ Slevin. So they turn now at the far side of the track and begin to descend, and out front it is Way Back Home, being chased in second by French Maid. Right behind them in third is the sheepskin noseband of Star Max, then Course Sublime towards the outside. Just inside this one, Gardens of Babylon. That's where you're looking for the form, the stripes, the Jones stripes on the outside of Course Sublime, the McManus hoops on the inside of Gardens of Babylon. Got Trumped and Hannon are next, then Authoriza, last of all Philon Dudery. They make their way on now towards flight number 5. Way Back Home, the cheap piece runner leads them out over, bidding for the hat-trick. A mistake towards the inside by Star Max. French Maid's just ahead of this one. Course Sublime is next. They're being followed by Gardens of Babylon. Got Trumped, Hannon, Authorizo, and last of all remains Philon Dudery. So they make their way out of the bend that brings them out of the back straight and heading on towards the next, which is 4 flights from the finish. Way Back Home, French Maid, Star Max, Course Sublime. Just behind them, Gardens of Babylon. Got Trumped is up on the outside. Hannon the other begin to bunch a little as they clear that one towards the back of the field as Authorizer. Gardens of Babylon just being nudged along a few strides after that flight to retain position as they continue down along the side of the track, heading on towards the half-mile pole with 3 flights of hurdles still ahead of them. And the Rathbarry and Glenview Stud Juvenile Hurdle Way Back Home from in second spot. French Maid, Course Sublime and Gardens of Babylon poised. Now Got Trumped is nudged along. Behind these, Star Max has lost position. Hannon goes well behind them as they clear the flight before they turn into the straight. And it is still Way Back Home for Porrick Roach and Paul Townend, but French Maid and Ruby Walsh go well in second. Course Sublime well too in third on the outside. Gardens of Babylon is tucked in. Quartet opening up over Hannon and Got Trumped. They begin to swing towards home. They've 2 flights left to jump. It's Way Back Home. French Maid goes well on the outside. Course Sublime poised on his tail. Gardens of Babylon tucked in behind the trio, and the Quartet will find the winner. They're clear from Hannon and Got Trumped, and now French Maid just goes on terms with Way Back Home. Near side, Course Sublime takes an interest. Course Sublime lands in front from French Maid, who has to pick up Gardens of Babylon. The same can be said. It's Course Sublime, but only just. French Maid is battling the far side. Near behind them is Gardens of Babylon, and Way Back Home is given best. Going towards the final one, French Maid is game on the far side. Course Sublime now has to rally. Gardens of Babylon coming back. French Maid at the final flight from Gardens of Babylon. Course Sublime finds nothing, and up towards the line is French Maid by a length and a half. From on the near side is staying on Gardens of Babylon, but French Maid is going to see it out on a slow finish. But it's going to be French Maid who just about does gets enough. From in second, Gardens of Babylon. In third was Course Sublime. In fourth behind those was a long time later Way Back Home, and they were followed in by Got Trumped, and then came Hannon in front of Authorizer Slow Motion and Philon Dudery. But just in time the line came for French Maid, the daughter of Dreamwell, the only filly in the field, ridden by Ruby Walsh, trained his 6th success in the race by Willie Mullins, and this one goes to number 9, French Maid.
Oh, what about that? 9 started out, and it was a heck of a finish. And it was the mare, the only mare in the race, French Maid, who gets there first. Your brother, Ruby, Katie?
Yeah, I thought from the back of the third last, it was a great bit of riding by all of these lads. Ruby travelled great. He knew that Mark was on his inside. Mark's horse didn't jump super for him. He wasn't helping him, and Ruby's mare jumped super. When they turned in, Ruby moved up on the outside of Paul. Paul kept in. Ruby was sure not to let Mark up his inside. Russell moved up on Ruby's outside, and then Mark had to come with one wet sail. Ruby was good from the back of the last on this mare, but she was good, and she ran well in the Triumph as well. It was a lovely race to watch.
It was a great race to watch, and Gardens of Babylon, while the mare had to be very brave and genuine to see out the trip, Gardens of Babylon had to be very tough because he was under pressure an awful long way out. You thought off the home bend maybe Davy Russell was travelling the best of the Quartet and Course Sublime, but he's probably maybe feeling a long season. He just didn't quite get home today. Gardens of Babylon here, he's just have to switch to the outside, whereas Ruby going down to the last, gunning for it and gets a flyer. So it was a great race to watch. From an inexperienced mare only having her 4th start, it was a massive performance, and who knows going forward what she could achieve next year.
She's exciting, isn't she? I mean, as you say, just her 4th start. Did it all come a bit quick for her or what?
She made a bad mistake in Cheltenham, to be honest, and she didn't get the best of runs, and Paul wasn't over-harding her. And I'd say, I mean, that's the effects, and that's what those professional jockeys make. Those decisions have to be made. Paul knew it wasn't happening, he wasn't harding her, and here we are today.
Yes.
Yeah, just down here with Ruby Walsh, and Ruby, she looks like she could go around there again. She put all the boys in their place today.
Yeah, she only had 10-7 on her back, Sally Ann, which is a huge help. And in fairness, so she did idle a bit from the back of the last, but when Mark came to her, she ran again and she scooted around the bend. But, you know, she won well in Clonmel, and things didn't really happen for her in the Triumph, but she's bounced back here today and done it well.
I was going to say, for a minute it looked like that Course Sublime was coming easily to you and was going to go straight by you, but she really battled back, like she really got into the race.
Yeah, she lengthens her stride and gradually picks up, and she just kept lengthening and got back by Course Sublime and really got running to the last where she was a bit tight, but she's a big shell of a filly, Sally Ann. She's all ribs and hips, and when she fills into that frame with a summer's grass, she'll be a very exciting mare next year.
Yeah, she looks fairly inexposed for the moment. It looks the one to look forward to next year. Well done, Ruby. Well done, Jason, as well, who looks after her.
I was just saying to Katie there, this is this daughter of Dreamwell. We were in Leopardstown when Classical Dream won the Grade 1 with Ruby aboard, and I was saying he hadn't achieved much in the stallion shed. It's all come in one go now. He's got another very, very smart Willie Mullins recruit, having had an awful long time at stud and achieved very little.
Does he stand in France?
He's actually gone to God now, but he raced for Pascal Barry in the colours of Niarchos family.
God won't use him. He's not into broodmares.
He's not into broodmares, no, but he was a little bit disappointing, and in 2019 he's showing a bit of talent.
Yeah, these are 4 good animals. They've run well. Parry Croce's horse has run a cracker again, doing all the donkey work in front. He doesn't quit, he just doesn't quicken up. Joseph's horse, Cardinal Babylon, probably didn't have as good a passage, but Mark was anxious on him on a few occasions. As you said, Jane, down the back, he was hunting him to get into his position. He didn't help him, and he didn't jump as well maybe as the others, but he's ran to the line well. The old mare keeps pulling out a bit, and that's what it's all about. It's on the day. They beat Course Sublime a long ways.
They pulled clear, yeah. They pulled clear.
They pulled well clear. They both quickened up well. Fine big mare. Look at the years of her.
She was second in France, then she came and she won her maiden hurl in Clonmel.
Look at the ears of her, Kate.
Yeah, she's big mare.
I love a horse with big ears. Like big ears, Kate.
Big, noble filly with big ears is what Jimmy Mangan would always look for.
Well, she has that.
Ted, mares get a £7 pull on the boys. You know, if you get a good one, we know. I mean, you know, £7 is a lot anyway.
Dawn Run, Apple Jade, Annie Power. You hate to be giving them £7. But it's brought out to, I suppose, encourage people to buy mares, because people were at the sales. They're helping that end of it a bit. They get, is it 3 or 5 on the flat? Is it 3? 3, is it, or 5? Yeah, but they get 7 over jumps. But I think it's unfair. But I mean, listen, I'm biased. I think that if they're good enough, they should be competing at equal terms, like you two ladies were when you were riding.
Yeah, we'd love £7. We'd take it every day of the week.
They were going to give ladies in France an allowance. Did that happen?
No.
We did. We did already.
Yeah, they did for a while, but they stopped it. And,
did they?
Yeah, it's gone back. I think it was there was uproar. I think the ladies were riding winners left, right, and centre, and then the lads were trying to toys out of the pram, and that was the end of that. But it never should have come in.
I don't think the lads were trying to toys out of the pram.
Do you? I think they were. You can be sure, but you can be sure it wasn't the women anyway.
But you see in England, Josephine Gordon, Hayley Turner, and them. Like if you gave them a £5 allowance, sure they'd be riding in derbies and they'd be winning them.
It's all about getting on the horses, though, I must say.
It discredited the ladies, though, didn't it? You know, I mean, it's not about poundage. It's skill. It's finesse.
It is. It's just completely different, Robert. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, if you're down the start and you're riding something that's 100 to 1, it's not much good. It doesn't matter who's riding it, male or female. And it's a skill. Horses have to get into a rhythm. They have to jump and they have to gallop. And you know, some people will say he might be better off with a big, strong fella on them, and some people might say it might be a bit easier if there was a girl riding them. So it all levels out. Some horses need a stronger ride in the saddle from the back of the last, and some horses just get on well with girls. That's it, but it all levels out.
Here's Tracy.
Certainly, I'm just joined by Willie Mullins, winning trainer, of course, of French Maid, and slightly surprised, I think, were you?
Yes, I was hoping that we might get her placed today. But chatting to Ruby before the race, we both thought she stayed, and I said if you can get her to jump over the first few hurdles and be up there in the first 3, her form in France, when the day we bought her, she was just staying on, and looked like she wanted a further trip. And so that was the plan, and hopefully we'd stay on to be 3rd or 4th, but she just stayed on.
We were just looking at her there. I mean, she's very small. There's not a lot of her, is there?
There's not a lot of her. She's skin and bone, but that's the way she is, and that's the way when she came from France she was like that. And I've been sort of trying to train her, but not to train her, if you know what I mean, because trying to keep her together. But she's tough, and she obviously doesn't need a lot of training because she's just naturally fit, I'd say. That's probably the way it is with her. So now that opens a lot of doors. we look at Ponchestown, but I think she's one that'll definitely go back to France, I'd say, for May and June, 2 meetings there.
She certainly did it well. A busy day, of course, again today. You've a Wicklow Brave. Can't wait to see Wicklow Brave again. But of course, 9 in the National, and I'm sure...
We're cutting it down to 7.
Oh, you cut it down to 7. You did have... I thought you had 9. Yeah. But anyway, it seems like that many. But I'm sure you're sick of everyone saying to you, are you going to break your duck today? But
we have... I mean, all of them have... They all have lovely chances for different reasons. And I would love... to me, Pair Brown Eyes is the one that we were training for the whole season. But Ruby chose Borough Saint, even though he's only had 2 runs. He's in with a nice weight, and Ruby thinks he's improving. So, who knows? And then Bellow Mom down at the bottom, he's a lovely lightweight. David got off him in Nace the last day and said he should win wherever he'll go next. So hopefully one of them might get through.
Some good chances. Could be a good omen, this one. Well done.
Thanks very much.
Best of luck, Willie. Good to see you. Thanks.
Well, it is indeed the best possible start for WP Mullins. He won the big one yesterday, and he's on target here in the Grade 2 Rathbarry and Glenview Studs Juvenile Hurdle. French maid, the only female in the race. Well, she's the best horse in the race today. Half a length, the margin of victory. Ruby Walsh steering her home 6-1, the odds of reward. Second, number 5, Gardens of Babylon.